What's good, y'all? It's your girl lydcenzo. We back in with another banger video. So today we're gonna be doing a story time of how my new friend in college was a weirdo. And I don't want y'all thinking that my whole college year, like this past year, was just problematic, because it really wasn't. But it was just like little minor story times that I really have to update y'all on. And since y'all liked the last video, I'm back again with another one. And we kind of have the same characters from the last story time that are involved. So if you guys didn't go watch that, make sure you guys go watch that right now. Okay, so let's just hop straight into the video. So we're gonna name this girl, we're gonna name her Speaker, because she was just super loud like all the time. During the course of the year, me and Speaker, we were cool. We always had this sort of like unspoken tension, just a little bit, in my opinion, because I feel like we both have very strong personalities. And like me, I'm not the type of person where it's like I can be around somebody who's like loud and has a whole bunch of energy all the time. Like I need my moments where I need to chill and stuff like that. That's the type of person that I am. So every time I was around her, it was like I had to prepare myself to be in her presence, if that makes sense. So it was this one random day, I just wanted to go outside. Like I wanted to go somewhere. I remember I was in the house for like probably like a week straight because I wasn't going to class and whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool. After I go to class for this day, I wanted to go to the basketball game. Like I just thought it would be fun to go. So I'm asking around like who's available, who wants to go with me, Everybody's telling me that they have stuff to do, whatever. I end up calling Speaker. I'm like, Speaker, do you want to come to this basketball game at 7 with me? And she was like, yeah. So I go over to her crib or whatever, and we walk over there, When we had got there, it was probably in like right after halftime in the women's basketball game. So the basketball game is coming to an end, but we were still staying because we were going to watch the men's basketball game right after. As there's probably like a minute left on the clock, Speaker turns to tell me, mind you, it's just us there. Speaker turns to tell me,
hey dude, is it okay if I leave you here really quickly?
And I'm like, what do you mean leave me here? She's like,
I just want to go back to my house so that I can smoke with this boy that I'm talking to.
And in my head, like, alarms are going off, because there's no way. You did not, like, my thing is, you did not have to agree to come to this basketball game with me. Like, you didn't. You know what I'm saying? If you did not want to go or you had something else to do, I would have been perfectly fine with that. I could have either decided to go by myself, or I could have decided to stay home because nobody else wanted to go with me. But because you're doing this, you didn't really give me an option to decide that for myself. Like, we came all the way over here and now you're telling me you're gonna leave. Like, and mind you, it's getting dark outside and everything like that. Like, why would you ask me, why would you try to leave me for next month? Like, explain that to me. Like what type of friend are you, bro? So I'm looking at her and I'm like, to be honest, I think that's kind of like weird. Like, I wouldn't feel comfortable with you doing that or whatever. And she's like,
please, like, I promise you I'm gonna come right back. Like, I promise, like, don't leave. Like, I'm coming right back. I promise.
So at this point, I was just like, okay, like, I'm not about to argue with you. Like, you're gonna do what you want to do regardless. You're grown, I'm grown. Like, it is what it is. So she ends up leaving me at the basketball game by myself. And I'm chilling or whatever. I'm watching the basketball game, and now we probably reached the halftime for the men's basketball game. So probably like an hour had passed at this point. She finally comes back and she's with Smalls and Jackie, bro. Like, why? Why? Like, why? So you know for a fact that, and if y'all don't know who Smalls and Jackie are, they're my roommates from my last story time. If y'all don't know who they are, like, if y'all want to understand better who they are, go watch that story time. But yeah, she comes back with them and I'm just baffled at this point, because it's like, this was not the plan. You know for a fact that I don't speak to these people, and even though you are our mutual friend, it's just flat out wrong. Like, if you know that two of your, like, whatever, you know that these group of people do not F with each other, why exactly are you bringing them in the same vicinity? Like, it's like you bringing my ops in my presence for what? Like, and it's crazy because like if I would have did that to you, bro, you would have been livid, bro. Like the way that she was, bro, I promise you, she was very, I don't want to call her ghetto, but she was very like always like on timing with everybody. Like it didn't matter if you outright disrespected her or like you was just like, you know, somebody making a joke on her. Like she's wilding up on everybody and at any time. Like it doesn't matter who's around. Like she was just very like on go with everything, even if it didn't require it. So it's like, knowing that you're that type of person, do unto others as you would want done to you. Why are you bringing my ops around, bro? So after that happened, bro, my whole mood was just thrown off, bro, because not only did you come back with them, you're bringing them to sit with us. Like, and I don't want y'all thinking it's on some petty-ish, because it really wasn't, but it's the principle. Like, you just don't do stuff like that. On top of that, you left them talking about you're going to go smoke with this guy, and you come back with people who you know I just fell out with. Like, why would you do that? Like, that was mad weird to me. So it's like, what did you really go to do? Did you even lie? Did you lie to me? Did you even go to smoke with that man? Like, I didn't know. But I did not say anything about it. Like, after the game was over, like, I just went about my business and I didn't say nothing to her. So I ended up coming home, and I had spoke to my roommate who I'm close with. I had spoke to Minnie Mouse also in my last story time. I spoke to her and I basically told her the situation, and she was agreeing with me. She was like, yeah, that's weird, da da da. And it wasn't like, oh, I was like outright, you know, speaking to her because I wanted to talk ish about her. Like, it wasn't even like that. It wasn't like I was speaking to my roommate because I wanted to talk about Speaker. It was the fact that, you know how people just be venting, and like I was low-key venting and also at the same time looking for advice, because me, I was so upset about it. It was giving like, I don't want to be friends with you no more. Like, I'm very quick to cut people off, which some may say is bad, some may say is bad, but either which way, that's how I am. And I wanted to like let her know like what was going on, and I wanted her to tell me if she thought I was bugging, like how she thought, you know, would be the right way to handle it. Like, I wanted some advice or whatever. And so she ended up telling me, you know, what she thought I should do, all that other stuff. And she also added that she was going to speak to Speaker herself and like make it known and make it clear, like, you know, that was wrong. And the only reason she said she was going to do that was because her and Speaker were way closer than me and Speaker. Like, her and Speaker were like inseparable since they came into college. Like, you know what I'm saying? They've been like word. So I was like, okay, and I left it alone. Like, I didn't say nothing to her about it. Like, but as far as I knew, they had that conversation, and she was like, yeah, like, I totally understand, like, that was my bad, da da da. So because I knew that you had this type of response when you had spoke about it with Minnie Mouse, I'm not about to go ahead and like bring it back up, like, especially because it happened one time. Like, it was a really minor situation. So as long as you told her that you understand, I really didn't feel the need to bring it back up. That's the only reason I didn't say nothing about it to her directly. So fast forward, we go to the nail salon. I forgot what happened. I think Minnie Mouse was busy doing homework or something like that. So she was like, oh, Leah, why don't you just go with Speaker? Like, go ahead with Speaker. So I'm like, okay. I head up Speaker. I'm like, hey, do you want to go to the nail salon today? Da da da. She was down with it. So she comes inside my crib or whatever, and she's like, did you call the Uber? And I'm like, no, because I just assumed that, you know, every time we go somewhere, we always talk about, oh, who pays for the Uber going and coming back. If it's two of us or if it's a group of us, we'll be like, oh, we'll split it between da da da, and y'all can split it between da 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 on the way home, like something like that. So everybody is pitching in or whatever. So I just assumed we was gonna talk about it. I didn't know she was just assuming like I'm paying for the Uber. So I was like, no, but I'm gonna call it right now. So I end up calling the Uber with the thought in my head, like, okay, you're gonna call the Uber on the way back, like it wouldn't be a problem. And she also, I had asked her, I said, why didn't you call the Uber or whatever? just to see what she would say. And she was like, oh, my phone's about to die. So I'm like, okay, maybe she wants to save her battery for when we need to call the Uber back home, or maybe she's just gonna cash at me the money, or maybe we're gonna handle it like that, whatever. That's not what ended up happening. So as we get in the Uber, I'm looking at her and she's on FaceTime, like on the phone, I'm not checking her battery percentage or nothing like that, but I'm just keeping a mental note in my head like, hey, you told me that your phone was about to die, but you're not conserving the battery, so something just wasn't making sense to me. We get to the nail salon, and as we're wrapping up, like as we're finishing our toes or whatever, her phone finally dies. And we were in the nail salon for probably, I'll say, a good like 35 minutes, and it was time to go. So guess who had to pay for the Uber coming back home? Again, me, obviously. When we get back to my place, we're inside, we're making TikToks, we're chilling, and me being me, I am not like, I promise y'all, nobody could ever say that like I'm the type of friend where I'm pressed over money. Like I promise you, I will quickly stop speaking to somebody rather than tell you, hey, you owe me bread. Like, I'm not that type of friend. Like, I will never tell you, oh, make sure you send me money, like, if you don't remember to send it, if you don't have the integrity to send it, that's all I need to know about you at the end of the day. And I don't want to, you know, business with you, because at the end of the day, it don't take nothing to send the money if you had the money. Like, if I have money, it's nobody asking me, oh, make sure you send me $15, make sure you send me $30. Like, no, like on the spot, if my phone is not dead, or when I realize that when I get a charge, like, you know what I'm saying, it's not that hard to send bread. So I'm like, okay, I didn't make no mention of it, but I just keep replaying it in my head. And mind you, it's not that serious, but it was that serious because it's like I'm overhearing her on the phone with boys talking about something. Yeah, you know, I pay for everything by myself, like basically always bragging about the fact that she has so much money. But it's like, where is that at when you need to pay a little $25 or something like that for us to go somewhere? You know what I'm saying? Like, that was just mad weird to me. And then mind you, this was the second time that happened. I didn't even tell you because it's not really important to the story like that, but it was literally probably like a week before this situation. We were walking back to my place, we were passing by the store, and she was like, Lydia, can you cash at me some money? And I was like, oh no, she was like, Lydia, can you pay for these woods for me? And I was like, can't you pay for it yourself? Like, because I've never asked her for anything. Like, you know how you have those friends where it's like somebody, like, let's say I have a friend, right? They could ask me, Lydia, can you pay for this? I'll pay it for you because I know that if I ask you for something, you got me too. You know what I'm saying? But we don't have that type of relationship. I just met you not too long ago. I don't know how you operate. I don't know how you move like that. And I was not comfortable with paying for her stuff. So I asked her, I said, why can't you buy the woods by yourself? She's like, oh, she made up this whole excuse that just did not make no sense to me. Talking about some, oh, I want to save the money that I have on Cash App for my vacation, like, and talking about how she'll pay me back in cash. Like, I just knew she was capping. Like, what she was saying, I forgot exactly what she said, but I promise y'all, what she was saying to me was just not making no sense to me. So I did not end up paying for it. And guess what? When we went in that store, she paid for it herself. So it's just like, were you just trying to use me, bro? Like, the same way now I feel used again now that this whole nail salon situation pops up. This situation was another red flag to me, but it's only a minor part in how the story unfolds. So continue on. We come back from the nail salon, we're chilling in my room. The plan was for us to chill until a certain time came about, probably like 5 or 6 o'clock. We were gonna go to the cafeteria to get food, and then they were having a concert in the auditorium that we were also going to go to after we got our food. That was the plan. And she probably asked me about 3 times, like, hey Lydia, can we go to my house? But I didn't want to go to her house. I forgot what the reason was, or maybe I just did not feel like walking over there. I did not want to go over to her house. Like, I didn't want to walk over there. So I kept telling her no. When it was getting time for us to leave or whatever, she was like, okay, well, can we just pass by my house so I can change my shoes? Because I guess she was wearing sneakers or sandals or something like that, and she was wearing sneakers and she wanted to change into sandals. That's what it was. She was wearing sneakers, she wanted to change into sandals. So she was like, can we just pass by my house so I can change my shoes and then we can go? So of course I say okay. She's like, her feet is hurting, da da da. I'm like, okay, cool, we can pass by, because there's a route on the way there. Like, it's not like we're going out of the way and we're spending time there, because I didn't want to do that. Keep that in mind. As we're walking, I see my other two roommates, I see Smalls and Jackie. Like, we're walking on the path this way and they're coming along this way. Like, I'm just thinking, oh, it's a coincidence. And if you don't know who Smalls and Jackie are, like I said, they're my roommates and they were also in my last story time, so make sure y'all go watch that. But yeah, I see them coming down on the path, and at this point we're not cool. Like, the situation from like, we haven't been talking for months. Like, we're not cool at all. Speaker knew that. Speaker was like mutual friends between all of us, because it was like a couple of times where we all hung out together, like as a group. We were never a friend group, but I'm saying we used to hang out and stuff like that occasionally. And so Speaker was friends with them as well as her being friends with me. So she was fully aware of the fact that we were not cool, we were not speaking. But because she does not live in our house, I guess nobody disclosed the actual situation to, like, nobody disclosed what happened to her. Like, because you don't live there, I personally was not coming out of my way to tell you, you know, business. Like, I was not about to do that. I didn't know if they told her like what had happened or nothing like that, but as far as I knew, she knew that we were not cool. Like, she knew that. So I'm just thinking, okay, like, it's a coincidence, because they're always together. I always see them walking around campus. Like, they're always like attached at the hip, like I said. So I really did not think nothing of it. I just assumed they were going back home to our place where we had just left. Wrong. So I'm walking, I'm talking with Speaker. Like, I'm not thinking nothing of it. I'm just thinking it's a coincidence. But of course I'm not gonna not acknowledge them or nothing, because we don't speak, so y'all don't have to be the topic of my conversation. Speaker goes ahead and cuts me off in the middle of me talking to her, and she's like, she looks at them and she's like,
hey guys, I'm coming back to my house.
And I'm looking at her mad confused, because I'm like, yo, like, I know what I think is about to happen is not about to happen, bro. So they come over to us, bro, and they're walking behind us, following us to Speaker's house. And I'm just confused, because I'm like, bro, we just had the same basketball situation. I know that you told her, like, you understand and da da da, but you're doing it again. So now I'm very confused as to what's going on right now. Like, what's tea? We end up getting in the house or whatever, and to my understanding, they had came over there so that they could all smoke together and I guess disperse, like go about their business or whatever. But my thing is, you didn't notify me about any of this, bro. You specifically told me, oh, let's just go home because I want to change my shoes and we can go. If you know, now you're fully aware, because the situation has happened already before. You already knew what the deal was between me and them. You knew how I feel. Like, don't bring people around me who I don't mess with, period. Like, that's the end of discussion. Like, do not bring people around me that I don't with. Like, it was a pretty simple thing to remember. Like, you know what I'm saying? So now I feel like you're purposely playing with me. Like, that's how I felt. So I'm sitting on the couch. It's probably like a minute into me getting in the crib. I'm sitting on the couch and I'm just looking at everybody in confusion. But when I tell you, the tension between me, Jackie, and Smalls was so thick, you could cut it with a knife. Like, when I tell y'all, we're just sitting in silence whilst Speaker is doing her hair in the bathroom, staring around at each other. Like, word. Like, it was just mad awkward. So me being me, I'm like, okay, I'm about to get up and leave, because I'm not that I'm scared or nothing like that, because if you watch my last story time, you definitely know. But it was just like, bro, I'm not feeling y'all at all. And one thing I'm not about to do is sit in a situation that I feel uncomfortable, or I feel like somebody is purposely playing with me. And because there was other people around, I wasn't going to just address Speaker in front of everybody. Like, because we were friends, I had that little bit of respect still left for her to acknowledge her in private after, you know, when we're by ourselves. So as I'm about to get up and leave, surprisingly, coincidentally, Smalls and Jackie decide to get up, and they're like, oh, you can, they yell out to speaker, they're like, you could just meet us in the, I forgot what they said, you could just meet us later. So I just assumed, okay, cool, they realized that, you know, it was an awkward situation, so they were just gonna smoke with her later. So she's like, okay, da 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 da. So probably like 10 minutes after, she's finally ready to go, and me and speaker start walking our way down to the cafeteria. As we're walking, she's yelling loud on the phone, whatever, and I'm walking mad fast ahead of her. Like, when I tell y'all, we were walking down the path, this is the path, and we started off like this, and I start, like, I'm marching ahead of her, because she just pissed me off, like, clean pissed me off. Like, I was just so tight. And so she yells out to me, she's like,
"Lydia, slow down."
I'm like, bro, you're just mad annoying, like, you really just irritated me. And she's like,
"Oh, what did I do?"
And I'm like, bro, why do you keep bringing me around? Why do you keep doing that? And she's like,
First of all, y'all are mad immature, because I'm sure the situation wasn't even that serious, and da 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 da.
I'm like, first of all, who are you to call me immature because I don't want to be around certain people? Like, if I tell you I don't want to be around somebody, I'm protecting my peace and I'm protecting my energy. It's nothing about, like, I'm telling y'all, like, I understand, like, bro, let me gather myself. Literally, if I don't want to coexist with somebody, I don't have to. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're not a family member that I live with, if you're not my roommate, bro, like, I don't have to coexist with anybody. I do not have to put myself through certain situations if I do not want to do that. Like, I'm in control of my choices and my actions. I don't have to do that. So for you to tell me that you think it's immature, da, 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 and then to top it off, you didn't even know what we fell out about. You know what I'm saying? So I start telling her, I'm like, bro, you don't even know this situation. Like, she's like,
yeah, because nobody decides to tell me anything that happens in your house, and da da da.
Exactly. Why does anybody in our house have to tell you what's going on inside the crib? Like, that does not concern you at all. That has nothing to do with you. So we keep walking, and low-key we start raising our voices at each other, and I'm just like, bro, you're pissing me off. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not trying to hear nothing she has to say, bro, because she's dead wrong. And like, the way that she's talking is that she's fighting so hard to make a point that cannot be made. Like, she does not want to admit that she's wrong at all. Like, she just wants to keep going, and she's sounding dumb in the process, mind you. My thing is, for you to tell me that you think that it's immature, like what we're doing and how we're not speaking, that just goes to show that you as my friend did not validate my feelings. Because at the end of the day, if you told me that you didn't mess with somebody and you don't want them around, I'm gonna respect that. Why? Because I'm your friend. At the end of the day, when you knew that we had fell out, and after the first basketball situation that you pulled, like, it was further established that I did not mess with them. Like, it was that deep to me. And the thing is, the situation between us was not that deep. Like, if I had to coincide with these girls, if I had to coexist with these girls, I could. Like, it's not a problem. But do I want to? No. Do I have to? No. So at the end of the day, you being my friend, you need to learn to respect that, or we don't need to be cool, period. And at the end of the day, if you wanted to hang out with them, you can hang out with them without me, bro. But when you invited them to the crib, you did not give me a choice to whether or not I wanted to be around them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was mad weird to me. So we finally reached the cafeteria, and I told her, I was like, to be honest with you, I already had a conversation with Minnie Mouse about this the first time that it happened, when we had went to the game. And she was like, oh, you talked to Minnie Mouse about it? And I was like, yes, because I wanted some advice on what to do. Because I'm telling her, like, yes, I know we have strong personalities. Like, even the way that we were raising our voices at each other, like, I kind of expected that to happen based off the fact of how, you know, I know that we interact with each other and like other people when we get into situations like this. So I was letting her know that to make sure she didn't think like, oh, I'm just out here talking about you. Like, no, I wanted her to know that. So anyway, we get into the cafeteria finally, and I forgot how Minnie Mouse became the topic of the conversation, But when she was brought up, she had said something to me talking about some,
"You're wrong, I don't know what you're talking about." Me and Minnie Mouse just had a conversation the other day. She agrees with me. She agrees that this whole thing is immature and da 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 da.
which I knew she was lying about, and sounded mad crazy to me because, one, I told y'all, Minnie Mouse and me are mad close, and she is my roommate. She lives right next door, and I promise y'all, we had heart-to-heart conversations every single night, mad late in the morning, like, word, like, even though, you know, you can't put nothing past nobody, I knew for a fact that Minnie Mouse would not be out here, you know, not disagreeing with me, but going back on what we spoke about. Like, as far as I knew, Minnie Mouse like totally validated everything that I was saying about me, Smalls, and Jackie's situation. Like, she knew that, like, she was a part of the situation. She has her own feelings towards them or whatever, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she knows that because we live together. So everything that Speaker was saying, and trying to drag her into it, talking about some, yeah, we feel the same way, girl, no you do not. Like, and at this point you're just trying to drag other people into a situation, and truthfully it wasn't even a situation, like, just the conversation. So as we're about to go find a table to sit down and continue the conversation, I forgot what she said to me, y'all, but I know I had my food in my hand, and I stopped in the middle of us walking to the table, and I'm like, bro, you're really getting me tight right now. Like, I feel like you're trying to play with me, like you're disrespecting me. Like, I'm raising my voice at her in front of everybody. Well, it wasn't really that much people in the cafeteria at the time, but I don't care who's around. Like, I'm really like yelling at her low key, and she's like,
Lydia, like, let's just have a seat so we could tone it down, because you know how we could get, and da da da, like, let's sort this out.
So we go sit down at the table, and everything is calm now or whatever. We eating, we still talking, and she's like, yeah, I feel like Smalls is I'm at this point, she pushes me to where I just explained the whole story to her. Like, we're sitting there for a good minute. I didn't really explain the whole story, but I explained bits and pieces of my horror story story time with my roommates. And she's like, okay, yeah, I finally understand why you don't want to be around them. And I was like, yeah, but at the end of the day, it shouldn't have taken me explaining my perspective and my point of view for you to learn to respect that. Like, I don't have to explain myself to nobody. If I say that I don't want to be around somebody, that's all it should be for you to respect that. I don't have to sit here and explain to you a story time on what the reason is and why, what happened, and what. I don't have to explain that to you. Like, I was trying to get her to understand that. She gonna still turn around and tell me,
well, I still feel like y'all need to fix it, because at the end of the day, we were all a group of friends.
Which was a lie. We were never a group of friends. We just had mutual relationships. And telling me that I need to fix this because she thinks that Smalls is a great person and all this other stuff. Like, just clearly not respecting anything I just said to you. Like, don't tell me that you understand nothing and then try to tell me I need to fix it. First of all, I don't need to do anything. What you need to do is not tell me what to do, because it's gonna become a problem. Like, I don't need to do anything. So, word. So at that point, I just stopped trying to like have that conversation with her. I just told her, I was like, okay, well, like, all I need you to do is stop bringing them around me when I'm around you, like, period. And if you can't do that, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's basically how I put it to her. And she's like, okay, like, I understand, I promise, I got you, like, it's not gonna be a problem no more, da 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 da. Like, so I thought we came to a mutual understanding. Like, I thought we finally came to an agreement. I was wrong. We did not come to no agreement, y'all. And before the conversation had ended, she also said something about Minnie Mouse basically saying that she's willing to have a relationship with Smalls, and she wants to fix things and da 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 da. And we were all I guess the story was that Speaker had invited Smalls and Jackie out with us because we were all supposed to go out for Valentine's Day, but I didn't know that. I just assumed that the plan was supposed to be me, Speaker, and Minnie Mouse going out, because when they had invited me to go out with them, I was like, sure, because I was already talking about us going out on Valentine's Day. So I was like, sure. Did I know that Jackie and Smalls was supposed to be coming? No, I did not. Like, I did not know that. But she brings it to my attention in this conversation, like, yeah, Minnie Mouse had said that we should not invite, we shouldn't invite Jackie and Smalls anymore because you were coming, and we know that, and she knows that y'all don't mess with each other, like, da-da-da. And she told me that she felt like that was wrong. At the end of the day, I definitely respect my friend, and I love my friend for this too, for even thinking about my feelings and like purposely not inviting those other two girls because I was coming. Like, that shows that you actually were thinking about me, and I messed with that OD. But did I know that that was the case? No, I did not know that. Like, and at the end of the day, it's not my fault. I didn't choose to uninvite somebody. Like, I didn't choose to do none of that. That had nothing to do with me. I came to where I was invited to, and that was that. Like, plus we had went out to eat, and then we had went to a hookah lounge, and as far as I was concerned, they were also underage, so it's like they couldn't even get in anyways. So that was the end of our conversation. Literally, I told y'all we were still going to the concert. I was like, to be honest, I don't feel like going no more. Like, I'm not really in the mood to go. Da da da. And she's like, why? I'm like, bro, because you just blew me. Like, I just want to go home. Like, I'm not feeling it. Da da da. She convinces me to go. So we're walking our way to the auditorium. We're sitting down whilst the concert starts, y'all. 20 minutes in, guess who sits behind us? Smalls and Jackie, bro. Like, yo, we just had this conversation not even a half hour ago, yo. Like, you just promised me, telling me like, oh yes, you understand, and all this other stuff. So the fact that you, like, now this is the third time, like, you're playing in my face. You're really playing in my face, and I'm letting you, like, I'm believing you every time. Like, Lid the Clown, like, word, like, I'm just believing, like, oh yeah, you totally understand me and all this other stuff. Bro, like, she was really playing in my face, because there's no way we had this conversation not even 30 minutes ago, and you still doing the same thing, bringing them in my vicinity. So at this point, I say something, I tap her, I'm like, bro, you serious? She's like,
oh, you know, I already invited them from when we were sitting at the house. Like, I just forgot to tell you.
And she just like laughed it off. She was like, please forgive me. So I'm like, okay, whatever. As we were leaving the concert and going home, she stops me and she's like,
Lydia, I just want to tell you, like, that I'm gonna have a personal conversation with Minnie Mouse, you know, just to let her know what we had talked about in our conversation.
so me in the conversation, I'm literally thinking, okay, like, you could talk to her, like, whatever, because I'm thinking she was doing the same thing that I was doing. Like, she didn't want her thinking, like, you know, we were just talking about her. Like, she wanted to let her know the contents of the conversation, and that was perfectly fine with me. Like, I didn't care if she knew about the conversation. I'm just thinking she's only telling me, like, notifying me, like, hey, I'm gonna talk to her, da da da. I didn't know why she was telling me that, but that's what she told me. So I was like, okay. But in the back of my mind, as I was going home, I already knew that I was gonna put my good sis on about what we talked about anyway, because we do that all the time. Like, I was gonna come home and be like, yo, this is what we talked about, you know, your name was brought up, just letting you know, like, this is what it was or whatever. So I'm just thinking she wants to have her own personal conversation with her the same way that I usually be doing. So I was like, okay, like, it's no problem, like, you know, do you, whatever. I go home, me and Minnie Mouse, we start talking about the whole situation. This girl is telling me, like, oh, she always be bending the truth, like, she be exaggerating, like, I never said that, da da da. Like, shorty was putting words in her mouth, like, all this other stuff. And I'm like, you see, like, I knew you wouldn't say something like that. Like, what you're saying to me sounds like sounds more like something that you would say. You understand what I'm saying? The way Minnie Mouse is talking to me, she's like, yeah, this is what I said, this is how I said it, I didn't say what she's saying. Like, you know, basically letting me know what the real facts was. So I'm like, that's interesting. Now, in the back of my head, I was thinking, should I go ahead and come back to speaker and be like, so why did you lie about what Minnie Mouse actually said and da da da? But then I just realized, I'm like, first of all, that's messy, and second of all, Why would I come back to you to keep talking about a situation that had nothing to do with you in the first place? You was the real tea is you was mad at the fact that you felt like you didn't know the real tea that was going on in the house, and why me and so was not talking to each other, and you wanted to know the 411. But at the end of the day, the 411 had nothing to do with you, and so you kept bringing them around because you felt like the problem wasn't that serious because you didn't know the problem. Like, that's really what your issue was. Like, that's really what it was. Like, that's really what it was. So I was just like, I'm not about to bring it up again because it had nothing to do with you in the first place. I was just gonna let it go and have us move forward. And if she was to do that shippiness again with the whole bringing them in my vicinity, then it was gonna be a wraps for her anyway, because I'm not about to keep talking to you. This is the third time that you did this. I'm not about to keep talking to you about, you know, you doing this. Like, I'm not about to keep doing that. That was that day. But something, it was God told me that this was not going to be the last of the conversation. Like, word. So here's where the receipts come in. So whatchamacallit, probably like the morning after this whole conversation had happened between us, I get a message from her. I think I had took a nap after class because this message says it was at 12:30. So yeah, I probably took like a nap or whatever, and as I wake up, I see this long essay, and I'm like, oh boy. Like, I promise y'all, I already knew what time it was. Like, every time somebody sends you an essay, bro, like, if it's not from my man, I definitely know what it's about. Like, we about to have beef right now. Like, facts. So boom, she goes, as you being my friend, I feel like you shouldn't have texted Minnie Mouse first to tell her how you felt about Smalls and Jackie being at the house while you were here. And I asked you if you texted Minnie Mouse before we even started talking about it because I wanted to see if you said something to her first and not me first. And you lied to me and said you haven't spoke to her since the last time y'all spoke about it. And I feel like you were being a hypocrite because you say you don't like when people do that to you, and you basically just did the same thing. So next time, just come to me first. As you being my friend, I think things will be much better that way. No hard feelings, just telling you how I feel. Then hold on, y'all, my camera battery's about to, oh, hold on. Then she says, and I also felt that was kind of messy because you knew you were going to say something to me regardless, so why go to my friend first? Let's break this down. The first thing that caught me off guard was that she said that I lied to her and said I haven't spoken to her since the last time y'all spoke. Remember, I told y'all, I literally stood in her face and told her, like, hey, I had a conversation with, oh yeah, I had a conversation with Minnie Mouse about the basketball game situation because I wanted advice, whatever. I told her that to her face. So for her to say that I lied about it is incorrect. I never did that. And then she says she feels like I was being a hypocrite because I said that I don't like when people do that to me, whatever. Exactly. If I told you that I don't like when people do that to me, why do you think that I would do something like that? Like, I feel like you're just making stuff up in your own head, because I literally came to your face and I told you what I said and how I said it and the whole nine. So what are we really talking about here? Maybe I just didn't understand this part of the message, truthfully, because it did confuse me when I first read it. So yeah, let's just move past that. Then what threw me off is the message after the paragraph. The whole, I also felt that was kind of messy and da. It's like like you're contradicting yourself. You're trying to tell me, oh yeah, I'm just telling you how I feel, but the way that you're talking about something, I felt like that was kind of messy. I feel like you're trying to come at me, and truthfully, it was mad weird to me, because how did we even end up in this type of situation? You talking about something, you felt that I was being messy? How? Like, how? As I had reread the conversation, I realized that, remember I had told y'all how she came to me, she told me that she was gonna have her own personal conversation with Minnie Mouse. She was telling me that so that I wouldn't go back and tell her first, like, so she could kind of get the one up on the conversation. Because literally after this conversation had happened, matter of fact, I'm gonna save that to the end. I already came and I already told you, like, the only reason I came to her is because I needed advice. I didn't know how you was gonna take it. I'm not close with you on that type of level, so word, I just wanted to figure out the right way to handle the situation, and I told her that. So for her to bring this up in a conversation really was kind of pointless to me, because what are we talking about here? So I responded to her and I said, truthfully, I don't care to talk about this no more. You told me one thing during our conversation, and you told Minnie Mouse another when you spoke to her yesterday, and I ain't lie about nothing, so it's really nothing to talk about. And me saying that was in regards to the conversation I had with Minnie Mouse when I came, and she was like, oh yeah, this is what I said. You know, y'all know what I'm talking about. So she responds and she says, what I did tell her, she said, what did I tell her that I didn't tell you? It seemed you told me that you and Minnie Mouse spoke, and she told you she disliked Smalls, correct? I told her that. I told you, how was that so? And she be in the smoke session with, correct? She was not making sense here. And she told me that she was willing to build a bond with Smalls if that time ever came, and she clarified that yesterday when I spoke to her. She never said she disliked Smalls. You said that, once again being messy. ... Never told her a lie. Definitely all seems like the truth. You were so thirsty to go back home and tell Minnie Mouse before I said anything, because you were being messy from the start. Let's break this down. So the first thing she says was, you told me that Minnie Mouse said that she disliked Smalls, correct? I told her that, which shows me that like I said, you tried to get the one up on me and have a conversation with Minnie Mouse so that you can spin whatever we talked about and spin the story to make it fit your narrative. That's what you try to do, and that's why you were so tight that I came home and I spoke to her first. And mind you, in my head, I was not thinking that, oh, you're telling me that you're gonna have your own personal conversation so I wouldn't say nothing. I was not thinking about that. Why? Because I was not trying to spin no narrative to make it fit what was going on. Like, I was just trying to tell the truth. I mean, not tell the truth. I was trying to figure out the truth, period. I knew what the truth was, but I wanted that confirmation, because the information that you was telling me was beyond me. Like, I couldn't believe the type of stuff that you was telling me. So facts. I came back and I spoke to her about it. It's no problem with that. You're mad because I did that, and now you can't tell whatever lies you wanted to tell to Minnie Mouse, because word, I cleared that up before you even had a chance to. So facts. One thing I forgot to mention to y'all that she also said, she said she told me that she felt like Minnie Mouse was being fake by saying that she didn't like Smalls, or, you know, didn't get along with her like that because they be smoking together. You can smoke with somebody who you're not close with. Like, it's just a blunt. Like, it's just a blunt. So honestly, and I know that whilst we're in the house, Smalls constantly asks Minnie Mouse if she wants to smoke with her weed. So if you're offering, why would you not take her up on the offer? Like, that's not fake to me. And remember how I told y'all, Speaker does not live with us. So remember, if you watch my last story time, you know that the very first situation that I mentioned was between Minnie Mouse and Smalls, and that tension never really went anywhere. Like, yes, they became cordial, but bro, they only hung out because they lived in the same place. That's it. And that was barely ever. Like, I'm telling y'all, like, Minnie Mouse never went out of her way to hang out with her if she did not have to. I promise y'all that. So for all this to even be going on just proves to me that she does not know what she's talking about. So for her to tell me that I'm being messy, again, you're mad. You cannot make up the narrative that you wanted to make up, and that's your problem. So I respond and I said, LMFAO, if you think so, girl. Because if you think so, like, girl, I already knew the facts. So it was like, I'm not about to sit here or argue with you. Like, you wasting my time. So boom. And especially after the fact that I already sat and I actually argued with those other two girls, my roommates. So if you really thought that I was about to sit here and argue with you, you got things twisted, because I'm not about to keep wasting my time with these girls, like, at all. Like, word. I say you got it twisted, and like I said, I know the real, and I had all the conversation I needed to have. It's nothing more to talk about, and you can think what you want for real. I don't care. Because I don't, like, and I'm really, this is the second time where I'm like trying to brush her off, because like, bro, don't waste my time. Like, I'm not trying to sit here and talk about this with you no more. Like, the situation between me and my roommates had nothing to do with anybody who does not live in our house. So why do you feel so pressed over the situation that had nothing to do with you in the first place? Again, like, what are we talking about here? So she says, okay, leave it at that. And nah, I don't got shit twisted. And yeah, because you know you lied, that's why I can't even do this with you, because you can't be honest. I don't like that messy shit, and that's that little girl shit at its finest. Then she says, at your big ass age, like, I don't do that shit. I apologize. So anything else we don't gotta talk about because you're not honest. I laughed at the message, and yes, she did apologize to me about the whole bringing them around me, but was I about to apologize to her? No, because I didn't do anything to her. Like, it was nothing for me to apologize for. Did you come to me with an issue? No, I came to you with the issue. And yeah, she's talking about some because you know you lied and you can't be honest, da da da. She's mad that I'm not entertaining her BS, bro. She's so mad. Like, she's so mad that I'm not, you know, acknowledging the stuff that she's saying, and I keep telling her you can think what you want and I don't care. She wants to be entertained, like, and she was so mad that I was not doing that for her. Like, and so as a result, she goes, oh yeah, because you can't even be honest because you know you lied. No, it's not that I know that I lied and I can't be honest. I don't feel the need to engage with you over this. It had nothing to do with you, so leave it at that. Like, and you keep going because you want somebody to entertain you, and it's not gonna be me. So I said, bro, if anyone lied, it's you, and I know that for a fact. You not on that. I say, you on that immature shit, not keeping in a stack about what's really going on, which is why we don't gotta speak about shit. Exactly. Then I said, now you coming on my phone trying to disrespect me like niggas was never friends to begin with because you tight. I'm not trying to continue this pointless ass conversation. And I'm glad too. I finally see how niggas really get down. Facts. Cause there's no way, like, I'm thinking, okay, like, maybe I could keep telling, maybe I could just say, I'm thinking, oh yeah, me saying that we could leave it at that would not be a problem because, you know, we could just move past it, like it wouldn't be a problem. But now I feel like you're trying to play with me and disrespect me. So facts, we was never friends to begin with if you feel like you could do that. So she says, if I lied, you should let me know what I lied about as you being my friend. And all that aggressive talking, I don't give a about where you come from. Like, you can be calm as like how I was about this situation. You're not mature enough, like I said, to handle friendship conversation about little shit. Like, chill out. I don't know what she's talking about. Like, this grammar situation needs to be sorted out because I don't understand what she was talking about there. But what really had me weak in this part was when she said she don't give about where I come from, which was mad funny because that just goes to show me that you're so pressed. Like, bro, people really be having these stereotypes about New York, and I was never the type to go around parading about, oh yeah, I'm from New York. Like, I mean, yes, of course I was proud to be from New York, but was I going around making it seem like I could beat up everybody because I'm from New York? Absolutely not. But it was just so funny that you brought that up out of nowhere, because you know that I'm so unbothered, and it bothers you that I'm from New York, bro. Like, talking about something, I don't care about that aggressive talking, and I don't care where you come from. Who was even talking about that, shorty? Like, who? Like, girl, you want to beef with a New Yorker so bad. Like, come on with that. So I started laughing at her again. Like, I said, girl, I don't care what you think about where I'm from. LMFAO, you tight because you're tight. Like, you're mad. Like, come on. So at this point, I just start trolling her because it's like, bro, what are we talking about right now? Like, what are we talking about? Even the situation from the day before had nothing to do with you, and you still trying to talk about it right now. So, like, what's really up? Like, come on. So she says, you can't even say what I lied about. So end of discussion. I'm not gonna keep going back and forth with you. Now you're trying to shut down the conversation because you seen I was shutting down the conversation. Girl, be yourself. Like, be original. So then I say, you keep trying to little girl, and we the same age. LMFAO, please. And for two, I said from jump, there's no need to continue the conversation, especially when the first thing out your mouth is that I'm a liar and I'm a hypocrite. Now it's I wasn't trying to talk shit out and fix the friendship. why would I talk about with anyone who can't even approach the situation correctly, let alone be honest about it? And instead of you being grown about shit, you always looking to argue with somebody, and I promise you it's not gonna be me. I'm not here for all of that. Facts. Like, because over time, bro, it's just like, bro, why do you want to keep, like, stuff like this is inevitable to avoid. Like, it's always going to be these type of people who you're going to encounter around you, and you just need to know how to deal with it. Like, I'm not about to be arguing with every single girl that I have a problem with, or that we're just not compatible to be friends. I'm not about to argue with you, like, and I know that I'm right, so I'm not arguing with you. Like, facts. So then she says, I wasn't coming to you to argue. I don't care to do so. That's why I said discussion over. But look at the little shit that made us get into it. Like, this shit lame, but enjoy your day, love. And to be honest, in my eyes, we wasn't getting into nothing. Like, I kept trying to tell you to let it go, but she clearly wanted to argue. So for her to say she wasn't coming to argue was like, but you just did though. Like, so then I said, you did though. You were the only one tight, and you were the only one trying to play disrespect. And if that was the case, you would have never approached me like that to begin with. You not on no grown shit like you think you are, when you can't even approach and talk to a friend or anybody for that matter the right way. And yes, I will enjoy my day, love. Like, word, like, chewed you up, like, ate you up, girl. Like, come on. So she puts a period. Then she goes, baby, you can't try and manipulate me to think that I was wrong. I told you where I was wrong, and I apologize, but certain shit you got to own up to. Like, again, the guilt is eating you away, because nobody was trying to manipulate you, for one. For two, I never outright told you that you were wrong. I was just letting you know the facts. And the fact that you even said that you think I'm trying to manipulate you into thinking that you were wrong just goes to show me that deep down inside you knew you was wrong. Facts. Like, that's all it is. And that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. So I laugh at her again. I said, LMFAO, what, bro? Can you read? I don't want no apology from you. That must be your guilt talking, because wherever you got that from couldn't have been me. Cause bro, like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? I didn't ask you for no apology. I didn't ask you to admit to me that you were wrong. Cause I don't care, bro. I don't care. Like, never cared. Like, word. So she responds. She's like, bro, please shut the fuck up. You're annoying as fuck. Laughing emoji. So I laugh at the message, and I troll her again. I said, you tight because you're tight. She's so tight. Like, why are you so mad? Why are you so tight? Like, come on. So yeah, that was the last conversation that we ever had. We never spoke after that, actually. But again, when I put my roommate on, my good sis, when I put her on about the situation, she absolutely agreed with me. She thought I handled the situation very maturely, as I did. And yeah, she even though her and Speaker were still friends at this time, because of course I'm not gonna tell you not to hang out with somebody just because I fell out with them. Like, you know, and y'all were friends too, so whatever. But even though they were friends at the time, she still agreed with me, and she said, like, bro, somebody who was really your friend from jump was not about to try to disrespect you and come at you like that and da da da. Because I promise you, I told Minnie Mouse, if she had that same argument with Speaker, it would have turned out totally different, because she respects her more than she respects me. And not because I gave her a reason to disrespect me, or I just didn't hold my ground. It's really the fact that you did not value our friendship the same way that you did with Minnie Mouse. And that's all it is. And that's okay. That's totally okay. Like, it's life. Like, people do not value their friendships the same, and that's what it is. Like, that's a fact. So, word. That was the last time we spoke. And I guess the day after, Minnie Mouse and Speaker had seen each other on the Tiger Walk, and Minnie Mouse comes home and tells me that Speaker decided to have a conversation with her about what had happened. And Minnie Mouse comes with the information, basically like, oh yeah, Speaker was telling me that you lied about this and you lied about that, and I was like, well, shoot, I'm glad that I came to you and I spoke to you about the conversation first, because who knows what you would have believed after this. Like, you feel me? Because the difference between me and her, I came to her off the strength of I just wanted to put you on about the situation, especially because your name was involved and I wanted to know the truth about like where all this stuff was coming from. And if I did not have that conversation with her, she would have probably been believing I was this whole different person trying to manipulate the story the same way that this girl was trying to do, like on some weirdo activity. And that's how I know, like, these girls do not be like, they just don't be genuine girls. Like, and I know that because literally as I'm making this video, Speaker and Minnie Mouse are not even friends anymore either, because of something that Speaker did. So at the end of the day, it's like, clearly you're the common denominator and you're the issue here. Like, facts. She also blocked me on Instagram. Not sure if she blocked my number, because again, I never tried to reach out to her after that. But yeah, so that's the end of the story time. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope it wasn't too confusing, because I know there was a lot of I hope it wasn't too confusing, because I know in the situation, in the conversation that we had in the cafeteria, I couldn't really name what we talked about verbatim, because it was kind of a while ago. But yeah, I just hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys tuned into my last story time, and I hope you guys tune into my next video, because I know that you know that it's a literal patient every time together on Senzo Nation, and that's on period. We out. Bye guys.